Pisces, this is your second relationship reading. There is a very small part of the Pisces collective that will resonate with the first reading that was specifically about false flames. So if you do not subscribe to that type of relationship, a relationship of never-ending loops of manipulation, don't bother to look at that. If this one comes out being the same thing, then you know it was your reading to begin with. But instead of starting with the ominous relationship oracle, we're going to just start with the tarot. So Pisces current energy, Page of Wands. All right. Then we have the devil. We have the Knight of Cups. Oh, so unassumingly minding your own business, looking for something that was going to light you up. Very innocently, maybe you know, playing around with the idea of divine spark, that inspiration that leads you to divinity sometimes, other times leads you to the devil. You never really know. In this case, it looks like you're headed right into temptation, addiction. Okay, with the Nine of Cups coming in after this, okay, this actually, what does this have to do with relationships? Okay. So it looks like you have um, some addictions that are impacting your relationship. It um, it is alcohol, alcoholism. All right, did we just like get smaller here? What is going on with Pisces? All right, we have true love, children, vulnerability, trust, and interference. Okay. Bottom of the, all right, we'll start here. Okay, too much information. Hold on, slow down. All right. So you are currently in a relationship that has not yet progressed to marriage, but it looks like it is bottom of the deck, both of these decks. It looks like it is headed in that way. Okay. So what I'm getting from the true love and the children is that there are children involved, or there's children in your future, or you have children on the way. You do love this person. There is the feeling of there is trust, and with the trust also comes the ability to be vulnerable. So it feels like this is a very safe. Um, Notice that there are four cards here, the four posts, the four wands. All right. And we have one problem, and the problem is clearly highlighted here. This is already known to you, but you have interference here. So external party intruding on the relationship with whenever there is third party interference, right? It's not a person. It is an energy. This particular energy is directly related to the potential for unresolved alcoholism here. Okay, so you yourself or your person is a is I can't I'm getting the word recovering here. But with this page coming in, it is not it's not genuine. Okay. All right. So we're going to expand this just in case. I'm getting a really strong alcoholism here. Very, very strong alcoholism. But if it is your story that it is some other sort of addiction, go ahead and substitute addiction. But that addiction has already been identified. So if your person has yourself or your person has a propensity for um, the consumption of like controlled substances without prescription, or like has an opiate addiction, or overcame an opiate addiction, overcame an alcohol addiction, but isn't currently in an active um, maintenance program for those addictions. There is this with this Page of Wands coming in here. It is almost like a creeping back up energy of this addictive, maladaptive coping mechanism. It's saying that you have what is like stable, right? You have love, you have children. To me, love, children, and stability is like family, right? Let's say that you are married here. This isn't energies coming in, but you actually are married to this person. You have the whole household here. You also have the trust and vulnerability, but there's something here that the person that is suffering from this condition is having sparks. How do I explain that? It's the spark before an ignition, right? It is the energy of small triggers, tiny little triggers, like the light of a match or whatever. They want to fall back in to their addictive patterns because of non-maintenance, I'm hearing. Um, okay, so um, what can Pisces do at this time to, or what is, okay, first let's get the, all right, so we have the background on this. Let's get the message. What is the message about this? What is the message? Okay, we have exposed. Okay, so what I'm getting from exposed, and then we have mischief at the bottom, mischief, and then ghosts. We also have caching. Okay, I think that this is about bringing to light or illuminating the fact that this is now kind of creeping up. Usually these things kind of ramp up unbeknownst to the other people involved. It's very rare, especially when you're not doing a maintenance program for these type of things. It's very rare for the person who is normally, in your case, very trustworthy and vulnerable when it comes to this particular thing. Whatever's creeping up, they might be unaware that it is creeping up. So the purpose of this message was to expose or illuminate the fact that that is occurring. Is there anything else as far as the purpose of the message? Okay, illusion. All right. So what this says to me is okay, night, territory, and displacement, isolation, resistance, protection. Okay. Um, so right now there it is illusionary that they currently have this problem under control, or maybe it appears to the best that you know that the problem is under control. There's an energy of with night, territory, displacement, isolation. It almost feels like, does your person travel, like travel for work, or do you work opposing shifts where one person works at night? This particular problem is really being highlighted when the person is outside of um their safe space, their comfort zone, their home. Wow, this is a really direct message. This is very cool. Let me sit with that energy for just a second and see if I can find out specifics. Okay, so okay, so this territory and displacement. This is like outside of their comfort zone. This is outside of where they feel safe and secure. This happens when they are isolated, and night would be like under the cloaking of, right? So it doesn't have to do with actual AM, PM, or whether the sun is up. It's more to do with under it's it's like being cloaked. So the person is not in their safe space. They're not at home. They're removed from their comfort zone. That's what it is. They're removed from their comfort zone and they're alone in the moment. And there's something that blankets them from being seen. Okay, this is for some of you. Okay, we will verify that later. For some of you, this might be something that they do in their vehicle. You might find evidence of drug or alcohol use or whatever their addiction, or this is when they might think about it the most because we don't know that they're currently under the use of this substance. They're they're being triggered when they're alone and outside of their comfort zone. And there's something that is protecting it from being seen. And I think it's because they are by themselves. And the picture of somebody in a car, it's a car, if that helps. It's not like a truck, it's a smaller car, four-door car. This is going to sound crazy, but I'm getting four-door older blue Toyota Corolla. I have no idea. I don't even know what that looks like. It looks boxy. Like it looks very square, which is odd because you can kind of guess how old I am. So you're looking at a Corolla from like way back when, which would make that car like 30 years old. Okay, I don't need any more of these. All right. Um, so what does Pisces need to do in order to help with this current? Okay, no, before we go to that, I want to know what is this trigger? What is the trigger that's occurring? The Hierophant in reverse. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. So what I'm hearing is they just like, um, oh, because it's against the rules, because they're not allowed, because they shouldn't, because sometimes they just want to do things that they are not allowed to do. Give me something else. The Three of Swords in reverse. The Three of Wands in reverse. So what I don't want to deliver this. This message is shit. I don't like I would much rather go to the false flame one than this one. Your person, the reason that they're using this, right? This form of escapism is because they don't want the rules. Like they feel like it doesn't they feel like it doesn't matter like who they hurt because they feel trapped with the Three of Wands in reverse. They feel stuck. The rules from the Hierophant are keeping them stuck. It's almost like with this Three of Swords in reverse, it almost feels like your relationship healed them and now they feel stuck. So they don't want the rules anymore. Reasons I have to tell you, like, this is a really shitty energy. That's a terrible reason. And that is not even like the worst part about it. The worst part about it is this will be the undoing of your relationship. Two of Cups in the reverse. What did I just say? And deck is not in the reverse. Like this is the undoing of this. This is the conclusion of this union. What is the okay? Oh, marriage. Oh, and then right behind that we have denial, forgiveness, and then the Four of Wands, the Chariot, the Knight of Cups, the Four of Swords, but that's like a hospital bed. And you know how I said it was almost in the car? We have the Chariot right after. Detach with love to clearly see the truth, and then forgiving yourself and another will help you move forward. What is the advice here? What is the advice? What's the advice for Pisces? Six of Swords. Pisces, you're being advised to move on. The Seven of Cups in reverse and the Page of Swords in reverse, you're being advised to move on because this illusion, right? Like you're not going to get the truth here. It's you might get the truth. You're not going to get the actual truth. This person is not going to come to you and say, actually they might come to you and say, sometimes I just like doing what I'm not allowed to do. They're not going to tell you that they feel trapped, that they feel strong enough now to go about it on their own. This person used you like you were, oh my God, this might actually be your energy here with this true love, children, trust, vulnerability. This might all be how you feel about this relationship. The fact that it was progressing to something stable or had the potential for stability. Oh, I see. Wow, that hit somebody hard. I felt that. This isn't your first time knowing about this. This isn't the first time you've experienced this with this person. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. It was almost like you were just waiting for this to come up again. Knight of Pentacles. It's been a while though since like their last relapse, if that's what you want to call it. Five of Wands. You didn't think this was going to be an issue again. Five of Wands in reverse. You didn't think it was going to be an issue again. That's the thing about addiction. Six of Cups in reverse. Man, you really thought this was history. Like you really thought this was old news. This was like something other. There's Four of Wands again. You really, really. Oh, I am so. I can feel you. Mm. Okay. What is the best way then for Pisces? You got to get in the boat. You've got to get in the boat. You have to get in the boat. Get in the boat and sail away. What is the best way for Pisces to get out of this situation? Best way, effective way, ghosts, play, caching, distraction. Okay, and then risk at the bottom. So be aware that this is a risky play, right? What I'm about to tell you. Okay, so um, so basically what this is like with the ghosts, with ghosts and play and caching, that's a lot like data, right? And then distraction. So I think that the best way, the most effective way here is for you to actually gather. Why would this be effective? Why would we ever encourage somebody to do this? Okay, I want verification. Why would we ever encourage somebody to do this? The Seven of Cups. Okay, but for who? So remember, there's the Seven of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Three of Wands. So the reason that we're even going to say this, right, is because Three of Wands, Knight of Swords, Seven of Cups, because as you are heading off in another direction, right, you are going to want like the truth of the situation amongst all of the illusions or all of the things that it could have been, right? So how you're going to prevent that back and forth? Did I make the right decision? What if I was wrong? What if it, all this other stuff? You kind of need to remember that this is something like from your past and from their past with the ghost card, right? Every time that they are outside of their territory where this thing comes about, check the vehicle, but the outside, right? We start collecting the data that you need. This is not data to burn um, your other person, right? It has nothing to do with that. It actually has to do with like your brain when because of how much you love this person, when they choose the addictive behavior over your love, your brain is going to go berserk and it is going to search for every possible mistake that you made. So you need to gather data for yourself so that you can refer back to the actual reality of the situation and not the shit that your brain is going to try to tell your heart. That's why. To dispel those illusions when your logical brain is searching for the truth of the situation. When you're waiting for the next thing, like you had the thing here. To you this was your everything. This is your person, right? And you were aware that your person had this addictive personality, this addictive trait. What you were not aware is that it was rearing its ugly head, and that's because they didn't tell you. They didn't have a preventative program in place. There was no security here, and nothing is and the thing is that nothing is happening in their life to trigger them in this way. It's basically like when they're bored, you know and I'm sorry to make that face like with it, but that's the way it is. Like they just, when they're bored, they're they're secure enough in your love and your trust and your stability and your always going to be there-ness, right? They're with that Three of Swords in the reverse. Like like I'm healed, like my heart is healed now. I'm healed now. I can do whatever I want. And if you don't like it, then I'll just go, which would be horrendous for you anyway. This person will eventually leave you for their addiction. Period. The end. And I don't ever say that this is predictive. If this is resonating with you so much that you are 28 minutes in and you're going, yeah, oh shit, yeah, wow. I mean, minus the blue Corolla, because like, yeah. Um, Maybe they drove a blue Corolla when they were younger. Ask them. You never know. Um, but like, my heart's breaking, literally breaking for you right now. Like, I want to cry because of how strong and direct that this message is. Here's that illusion again. The same thing there. Like, you're you're protective. You're The universe is protecting you from this experience. It's giving you an opportunity to walk away from something that's going to be excruciatingly painful. It might save your person too. Addictions destroy families, much like lies. It destroys love. It destroys people. I'm not saying that drugs are bad. I'm not condoning illegal drug use or anything like that. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Just, you should, if you lie to yourself, you should stay away from anything that triggers that. Period. If you have an addiction, you should, well, see, and if you don't lie to yourself, you're not going to have an addiction in the first place. It's just a vicious cycle. All right. I would have taken a false flame over this reading any day. They might be one and the same though. So, Pisces, you are unconditionally loved and supported by the universe, and so is your person. My unconditional love to you. Until next time, take care of yourself and pack your. Okay, take care.